Well, hey there everyone, this is Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome back to Southeast Louisiana. Well there folks, it is a warm one. I gotta finish up a video and that's why I'm making this opening right quick. And I want to show you something. Look at this wasp nest. Even the wasp nests are not that big. That thing should be loaded with wasps by now. And it's just growing slow, just like everything else. So I guess the freeze really hurt everybody. So what am I doing out here today? Today is the 1st of June. I did a video a few days ago and we found 2 queens in a drone lair. The other thing I had to do that day was go in and check the colony that I wasn't sure whether they had swarmed or not, because things didn't work out as easily as I thought they would. The video went way long with the double queen thing. So I says to myself, let's just shoot another opening, we'll shoot another closing, and we'll stick the video in the middle, because I had a further development. So maybe it was meant to be that this video needed to be separate. I had another development that I will explain, and we'll get into it here in just a minute. So I'm next door, and I'm going to show you. We got that double queen situation with drone layer stuff going forward, and we'll see what happens. But I got this colony here, and this is the only one that showed any signs of swarming. Had 2 complete cells. The rest were not capped yet. So when I see that, what I do, and this strategy does work, it's a lot of work to do it though. You gotta really be prepared to put the time in to do it. Of course, this is not a how-to, again, it's a how I do. But I got this from Jamie Ellis actually. Anyway, you see cells, go find the queen. If they haven't swarmed, you take every single cell out, and you gotta go through every frame to do it. And then, after they're all out, you put it back on, and then make sure they've got space. So I kind of did that with this one, except for the make sure they got space. They got space. That's the thing. They got 2 supers. The problem is they have space for honey, but the entire bottom box is pretty much pollen bound. Some bees just pack it in there and it never comes out. And I've learned I got to clear that out sometimes. I did it a couple times this year, and I need to be more diligent about pollen bound frames. That colony over there is bad about it. I cleared them out and gave them space twice now. They're just bad, and it's a genetic thing, I think, with certain varieties of bees. I got certain ones that do it really bad. That's what I think is wrong with this one. So I got some fresh frames. We're going to see if she did not swarm. I saw her, but she was very flighty and runny. Like they were almost, it seemed like they were just about on the verge of swarming. And they had about 4 unfinished cells, and I found 2 finished cells. One's in the incubator. So if it's a good cell, I meant to take 2 out of there that were finished, but I broke one. But if it's good and they do swarm, if she comes out, I'll requeen them with her sister, who was going to be there anyway, right? And they just won't. Well, nobody's a honey producer. I was going to say they won't be a honey producer, but that's kind of the case with everybody this year. Let's see what they did, see if she's still in there, see if we can open her nest up if she is. How will I know? I'll see eggs. How will I know they're ready to go again? I'll see cells. So we got honey supers on here. Been on for at least a month. And we got honey in there. And this is one of the ones that's actually got some honey. I'll show it to you real quick to show you what we're dealing with. You get these frames in the middle. Look pretty good, but you know, that's it. They're not filling it anymore. It's not coming in anymore. It's being hazed over, dried. So what you're seeing with them all, this is what I'm seeing is, I'm seeing frames like that. Here, 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 and here. Maybe here, a little bit here. Everything on the outsides are empty on all the boxes, even the bottom ones. But you're talking about a time frame where we would be full of nectar right now. So in the bottom one, I'm seeing a little bit of nectar, and that's it. Gonna see if they got swarm cells. And I'm gonna make sure that I still got a queen. Easy enough, just gonna look for some eggs. I'm not gonna hunt her down. And then we're gonna give her some space in the bottom, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, pollen bound. See if they build any more cells down here. So we're not looking too bad down here. These cups are, I'm sure, empty. Yeah. So before we go any further, we want to make sure we got a queen, because if we killed cells and they swarmed, which I don't know how much fuller they were, that's a bad thing. That means we left them without an opportunity to make a queen. So we got to make sure we didn't do that first. I did put eyes on her. I did see her, so I know she was in there. They backfilled the brood. Of course, I always want to check for her, but she's probably not going to be up here because they're backfilling it with nectar. And again, they're not going up. They're going staying in there. And it's okay to fill a second deep. That's okay, because that's for winter anyway. All right, there's a solid frame of brood. There's a cell. Look at there. There's another one right there. That one almost looks like an emergency cell. So I'm going to go frame by frame, and I'm not going to take you through every single frame because you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing. But let's see what we can find out. Full. This is what every frame in the bottom looks like. It's aggravating because it's, you mean, you don't track it that well. You're not looking through all the boxes every single day. But there you go. Look, full of pollen. I think these bees might have swarmed. There were more bees in this. And when you see cap cells, a lot of times, that's just telltale. Like this one here, there's a spot there for brood. And then there's a raised spot on this side for brood. And that's it. That's how a lot of the frames look. Well, there's nothing she can do with that. They're not going to grow. Let me keep looking. I haven't seen any eggs. Well, I ain't got my light just to be sure. Now, see, it's a good frame she can lay in. See, that's a good frame, but then the other side is full of pollen. I'm still going to give them some open frames. Thing is, if they're queenless, they'll fill them with honey. Another frame full of bee bread. It's heavy. It's so full of bee bread. Another side full of bee bread. And in a minute I'm going to shake them all down, give them some space to see what they do. This frame's broke anyway. Double check my queen ain't on here. Yeah, I think they might have swarmed, folks. Those three for sure. I'll leave the brood in here. Give them some good frames. Here they come. See how they're coming out? They just do that. Let's see what they do with this. This is a brood frame neck. Leave it to brood and pollen. Really think they've swarmed, that's why. Put that one there. I'm gonna put this one in the middle. I'll put them back together. No sense in trying to find a queen through the rest of the frames. I've already been through them. But when they do this, there's no reason to. I think they might have swarmed. I'm gonna look in these top frames a little bit more and I'll get back with you. All right, folks, so as I look at this, I'm gonna cut this cell out and I'm thinking, well, you know, maybe she did, maybe she didn't. I don't see any eggs anywhere. I've given them space. If she is in there, she'll put eggs in there. But then you say, well, you left a couple cells. Well, they sure do look like, I know this one is an emergency cell. That's an emergency cell. How can I tell, you might ask? Well, because it's built off an existing egg. That wasn't a, you can just look at that and tell. This one, on the other hand, looks like it could be a swarm cell, but I went to dig it out and I'm looking at it. It's almost like it's on the plastic too. The reason it's longer is because it's in an area where there was an egg, but also a small indentation where they can build a nice cell. So I stopped at that point, because what I don't want to do is, I got a cell in the incubator from them. Let me just leave these two. I think she might have left. If she didn't, it's a chance I take. Kind of at the point where we're so late in the season, I don't want to doom this colony by pulling cells. And what if that one in the incubator isn't any good? I mean, it's been in there 4 days. What if it's no good and I count on it and I ruin one of these? This one, I can't take the emergency off. What if I ruin that one? Why did they build an emergency? Because I took their swarm cells and all they had was a few larvae left to build from? Because it's almost as though they were going to swarm that day. She looked run down a little bit. They were very runny. I might just watch this one, see if they have to requeen themselves. Maybe she's already gone. Maybe she's not. I think I'm going to leave it alone. Wisdom and my gut is telling me, let them do what they need to do. I mean, they're not making honey anyway. I got, what, maybe 4 or 5 frames of honey in there that's not even finished being filled. I say I leave them alone and go from here. All right, folks, so you saw that video, and I've been out here working bees while y'all been watching that. One surprise I want to show you that has to do with the footage you just watched. Come inside the honey house real quick. So here we are in the honey house, and that is my incubator, and inside that incubator is an unmated queen. So where'd this queen come from? This unmated queen, this virgin. She came from this right here. This was a swarm cell. So what I did with that colony was I did that procedure where I kill all the cells. I kill off all the cells. And I saw that one and said, man, that's a pretty cell. And another one. They were kind of up in the frame a little bit instead of on the edge. So I grabbed them both, but one got ripped. So that one I put in here. So let me put it in the incubator. And if something happens and they still swarm, because remember, that queen, she was runny, had her wings out as she would run. She was smaller. And I thought to myself, and there weren't any cells. Matter of fact, all the cells weren't even completely capped. Only those couple were. And I took them out, killed everything else, checked every single frame, and then boom, I find emergency cells in there. So obviously, they were in the mode to swarm right then and there when I saw them, just as I had suspected, just because of their behavior. So I saved that cell. I go and of course, you know, you see in the video, I find emergency cells. So they must have left the next day, and they realized they had no more cells, and it was close enough to the time they still had the right age larvae. So I left those 2 cells in there and said, well, the heck with it. They gotta requeen now, because apparently there's no queen in there. They swarmed. So that procedure, it works a lot of the time, but sometimes it doesn't. Especially if you catch them and they're already on their way, you know, within hours. So I put this thing in here, and it's been in there now. This is day 9. She came out yesterday on day 8 of the cell being capped. So when I pulled that cell, they had literally just been capped over. That's why they left. She came out, and I said, well, there we go. So I'm kind of glad I didn't put the video out, because now I got a virgin to put in there. And I'm going to put her in there in the cage and see if those other cells have emerged. Based on the amount of days, they should still be in there and be capped. And I'll probably leave them and let the natural process take over. So the night before, you know, I almost unplugged her. I almost pulled the plug. Almost took her off life support. Because I'm like, man, it's going to be day 9, man. Whew, this thing has got to be a bad cell. Here's the crazy part. I did all that work, and she's still coming out from the original swarm cells. I saved no time. As you can see, we got the bees. We have got the bees. But look how they're not working. See how they're sitting? Some of the colonies I was looking at earlier, this one here, that's almost like orientation flights. The rest of them are just fanning and washboarding. The only thing I can say I might have gained from killing all the cells and them swarming anyway this time, and like I said, that works. I tell you what, 90% of the time that works. I don't have any problems, they don't swarm. But you know, you lose some, you win some. But I really think we probably did a good thing by getting rid of all those cells, because you know what? This thing's big enough they could have cast a secondary swarm or a cast swarm very easily, because there's plenty of bees. Not that they do that every time because there's a lot of bees, but if you leave too many cells, sometimes they do. I know that from experience. All right, they are both still capped. Now, based on how long that one was out and based on when these were made, they should be at least 4 days away from emerging. I don't want to kill them in case I do something bad. There was another one I had missed. I noticed when I was editing the video, there was another one right there. Emergency cells are definitely way different looking because they make the egg, they make the cell off the existing egg because they don't have a queen to lay inside a cup. So they make a cup, it bends her over. There was our queen right there. So that's how far along they are. So tomorrow I can release this one out of the cage. I just want to play it safe. And they're a long ways away. Go scooch this frame a little bit. There we go. We'll just leave her in here for a day. All right, folks, there we go. Sometimes I do a direct release. They've been queenless. I probably could have. Probably be safer in case that one cell were to emerge. I don't think it will. So what I'll do is I'm not even going to look tomorrow when I release her. I'm just going to pop the cap, let her in there, and whatever happens, happens. If she does what she needs to do, she should take care of those cells. Hey there, everyone. It's the next day. Let's go see if this virgin queen is alive in the cage, and if she's okay, and let's get her released. I see the queen moving in there. That's a good sign. Y'all remember a video a while back I had where one of the virgins was dead in the cage. She's doing fine. She's right there at the top. They love to fly when they're young like this. There she went. There she went, right down in there. Our queen is in there. She's alive. She's been released. The rest is up to her. She's got 2 cells in there that she has to take care of, and she's got to successfully get on a mating flight. I've done what I can do. Now it's up to the bees and to her to get out and get back safely and into the right location. Next day, and I want you to see after we release the queen, the cells are chewed out there. That one is chewed out. So I'm gonna put it back real quick. I just wanted to show you that. On Mr. Ed's advice, he said, hey, show the natural process. I said, okay, I will. I hate to open it up and disturb her. I hope she's fine now after I did this. If she's not, y'all gonna blame Mr. Ed. Just kidding. Hey, there you go. We put a virgin queen in there. They obviously accepted her because this is the next day. This is probably 24 hours later-ish. This is after work, and this is Saturday afternoon, and they tore the cells down. So they accepted her as their queen. Hopefully she gets out and gets mated. It's tough in the summer. Dragonflies, birds now know where all the hives are. You know, she's slow flying. It's hot. Drone concentration areas aren't as thick anymore. Hey, but hey, all we can do is give them the chance. I'm gonna put it back together. There you go, quick update. And if she can get a successful mating flight, we'll be set to go. Again, I didn't gain any time on that because that's an original cell from the original swarm time that they were going to go. So we're still in the same boat. There's a lot of bees still left in there. Maybe we saved secondary swarms by killing those cells. I don't know. But I'm glad one survived. I'm going to call it a day. I appreciate all you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed this little bit of video. A continuation of the other day when I went through colonies. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. May God bless you. We'll see y'all later.